Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Wisdom's Heir. Today, we're still in Genesis looking at the creation story, but we'll be looking at some leadership lessons from creation. And we'll look at how God builds to last. Now, Genesis shows us something profound, that God does not just improvise creation, He executes a vision. Before light appeared, the idea of light already exists. Before systems, the systems were already conceived in the mind of God. This is leadership at its highest level. God is a master visionary. Creation begins not with action, but with vision and intention. God sees the end from the beginning. Each day unfolds a pre-existing plan. What does this have to do with leadership? True leaders should have a vision. They should see before they build. They should imagine before they execute. They should hold the picture even when the only thing that others see is chaos. Genesis teaches us that vision always should precede execution. Second lesson, God works one day at a time. God is a beautiful executor. He's not rushed. He's not scattered. And he's actually not multitasking either. Each day, he had one clear objective, one completed task, and one declared outcome. And he evaluated it and said, he saw that it was good. This is disciplined execution. What's the leadership insight? Great leaders don't do everything at once. They do the right thing in the right order. Leadership lesson number 3. God honors dependencies. God honors dependencies. God knows that the order of doing something matters. Notice the sequence. There was light before life. The atmosphere came before vegetation. The vegetation came before the animals, and the animals came before humanity. Nothing was created out of sequence. God understands dependencies. What's the leadership lesson? Creating outcomes without prerequisites produces failure. God never asks something to function before its environment is ready. Lesson number 4. God is a generative designer. God's creation was one and done. This is one of the most overlooked truths in Genesis. God said, "Let the earth bring forth, each according to its seed." So when God created, he built in systems that reproduce themselves. He doesn't return every day to recreate trees. He embeds into the creation continuation in the design. What is the leadership lesson? If you have to constantly recreate it, you didn't design it well in the first place. Great leaders build systems, they build people, they build structures. These things need to continue without constant intervention from the leader. Lesson number 5. God is an excellent delegator. When God creates the garden, he hands over the responsibility to man and says, work it and keep it. Notice, though, that delegation is not abandonment. It's trust, and it has boundaries. So if you delegate without authority, if you don't give the person you're delegating to authority, they cannot do their work effectively. God gave man authority when he delegated to him. The delegation was clear. Clarity is empowerment. Lesson number 6. God leads with emotional intelligence. When God notices something that Adam didn't even notice, God said, It's not good that man should be alone. So God addresses emotional needs, relational needs, and the psychological completeness of Adam. This teaches us that a leader who ignores the human needs of his team will burn people out. Next lesson, God is a team builder. When God saw that Adam needed help, he did not just create another man. He creates a complement, a different person, a corresponding person, but somebody aligned to Adam's needs. What's the leadership lesson? Teams are strongest when members are not identical. They need to be complementary. Next lesson, lesson number 8. God is a clear communicator. God gives clear instructions to Adam, clear boundaries, clear consequences, and clear responsibility. There was no ambiguity and there was no confusion. What's the leadership lesson? A leader's instructions need to be clear for them to be able to be carried out effectively by the team. Number 9, God leads with law and grace. God does not just give freedom, he gives structure. When you give boundaries to your team, they're not punishment, they're protection. What's the lesson? Rules don't restrict your team from flourishing. They make it possible for them to succeed. So, Genesis is an excellent leadership manual. It's not just about origins, it's about how God builds to last. It's about vision, execution, order, systems, delegation, care, boundaries. That is divine leadership. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to Wisdom's Heir, and I challenge you to open your Bible. It's good for the soul.